welcome once again to another edition of Coffee and Sports in the Morning here on Wide Network. I'm your host for today, Mr. William D. Morgan. Got a lot to talk about today. Going to do a WWE recap on Monday Night Raw. I think it was interesting. Going to talk a lot of stuff this morning. So get your breakfast, get your caffeine. Let's get this thing started. Going to start with our WWE recap. Mo, what did you think of Monday Night Raw? What were some of your highs and some of your lows?
Look, you know that at this stage of the game, everything is about promotion and storytelling and trying to build up the matches. I can only speak for myself. To this point, for whatever reason, I'm not that excited about the card just yet. I'm not feeling it. There's an energy you normally feel when you're anticipating WrestleMania. I don't have that feeling yet. And maybe they'll add some surprises. Or they'll book a match that I don't see them booking. But right now, look, maybe I'll get more excited the closer we get to Mania. But right now, I don't know. I'm just not as excited as I normally am. And maybe that's on them. Maybe they have more storytelling to put up, better promotions. We'll see.
NFL Genius, what was some of your thoughts on Monday Night Raw last night?
That was good. I thought it was good Monday Night Raw. Didn't get a chance to see it live. Just literally finished the recap myself. I'm going this year, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm a little bit more excited than normally because I've never been to a WrestleMania, even when it was in Philly. I'm going this year to Vegas, which will be awesome to see. But I'll tell you, Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi, worth the price of admission. Love me some Obafemi. And Paul Heyman, I'll say this, is the best promo guy in the business. I'd like to see what they're going to do with Seth. I don't know if Seth's going to have a match at Mania. I still think one of those masked guys is going to end up being Braun Breaker, and he's going to spear him, and you're going to get Seth versus Braun at Mania. But that's got to happen soon. I'm sure Seth is probably getting cleared right about now. So that'll be fun to see. I could be wrong. Like Mo said, it's not a great build-up. I do think they've done a great job with heel Randy and the voices. And I think they did a great job there. Punk Roman has been everything that I've wanted to be as far as the main events go. But I think the thing I'm missing is, like last year, I thought the triple threat match between the women with Rhea, Bianca, and Io was the best match I watched in a long time. And I think you're missing that. I think you're missing the middle card, the undercard, the bangers that you can't wait to look forward to. Obviously with a lot of superstars hurt and you have to develop storytelling, that's huge. That's important. Yeah. I need to see an 8-man tag. I need to see like a tables, ladders, and chairs.
8-man tag. Yeah.
Give me something like that.
Yeah.
You're right, Mo. It's not the lead up for some of the other matches. Like I told you, I said pre-show, I have zero interest in AJ versus Becky for a third time, especially when I know it's a predetermined outcome that Becky's going to win because AJ is going to go away.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I feel. It's just the way I feel.
The one match I'm looking forward to, and we saw the dust up last night. I said a pre-show. Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. Oh my goodness. I am looking forward to seeing those ladies go at it. And it makes sense too for them two to go at it. I'm looking forward to that. Another thing too, I want to get with you, Gene. We'll see if you agree with my sentiment. If Brock Lesnar doesn't put Oba over, we right.
100%. See, I don't think it's going to happen though. That's the problem. I am very nervous that the WWE is not going to put him over, and I'll tell you why. And you can kind of watch the pattern happen. When one superstar constantly gets over on the other superstar on all the lead up to WrestleMania, which Oba's now 2-0, and it normally indicates the other one's going to win. So unless I see Brock Lesnar beat the crap out of Obafemi the next 2 weeks and make it look like Oba's got no chance, then I don't think I'll put him over. Brock Lesnar is one of those guys that I just think he has too much pride to put somebody else over. And Obafemi is not Bobby Lashley. Obafemi is not any of these other guys that they put in the ring with him. He is absolutely a next WWE champion. He's great.
Yeah, I do agree on the one fan sentiment. that I believe Trick Williams and Obafemi are the WWE's future. And for him not to put over, I think it's just discredit WWE right now, because that's a shame. And Brock is at that point in his career, he really needs to put guys over. It's just a shame, man, because you're right. You're right in your synopsis of odds. Because again, when you see someone go over 2-3 times on these smaller network shows, the pay-per-view comes up with the other guys win. So you're correct on that. I just hope that doesn't happen this time. Mo, real quick, let me get with you about Roman Reigns and CM Punk. You liking how that direction the house going?
Yeah, I mean, because I think the animosity there is real. So that helps with the buildup.
Yes.
And Gene's right. You can see the reforming of the OG bloodline. That's a done deal. And obviously that means that Roman's leaning more back into being a heel, if you will, which I prefer him that way anyway. He's at his best when he's a heel, and he's the tribal chief again. So I have no problem with that. Like I said, they've done a good job with a couple of buildups, but I'm just talking about the overall card. Sometimes it's easy to get hype or not hype about a main event, but I'm talking about the entirety of a WrestleMania is supposed to feel like an event. And I don't know if necessarily the undercards and some of the things they've already put out there match-wise is going to live up to it. I just think there are better matches that can be made.
It's our Super Bowl, and it's definitely not giving Super Bowl vibe.
The Usos versus the Vision again at WrestleMania. It was just on a random Monday Night Raw, but let's throw it in again at Wrestle. It's so dumb. Logan Paul needs a WrestleMania match, so we're gonna figure out how to do that. I can't.
But you know what? And I ended on this. I think it's kind of funny that Gunther doesn't have a match, at least not yet.
He's gonna get one.
Had to.
Real quick, I do want to ask you guys, because maybe it's my own homer. Like maybe it's me being a homer. You guys know one of my favorite WWE superstars that I root for is Mrs. Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
She actually cut a really good promo Friday for the first time I can ever remember.
Yeah.
And I like the thought process of giving her a little faction. I thought they did a really poor job of leading up to that being a faction with Meat Shin and B-Fab. But I think B-Fab works perfectly with Jade. And I think that group being their little faction was awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I agree too.
I think that Jade will be better as a head of a faction too. It plays to her becoming that ultimate heel, right? She's the days of winning clean, that's over for her. And that's fine if she's a convincing enough heel that she becomes the heel that you love to hate. Like, you know what I mean? Like a face is only as great as the heel in front of them.
Right.
I think Rhea is what Jade needs. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to put Jade over on Rhea. I don't think that's happening.
From what I understand, and from what I understand, these two ladies have real heat with each other in the locker room too. So that's going to make it even more interesting.
Jade has heat with everyone in the locker room. It's because of her personality as a whole. That's just what it was. I think Jade is a much better heel than she is face. And I listen, I don't think the right move is to take the belt off her at Mania. I don't. I think they will, but I don't think that's the right move.
Right.
I think the move is to have interference, have like B-Fab hit her with a kendo stick and have Jade it and win and stay the champion, because I think the real move is Bianca Jade. And I think that's what they wanted, but Bianca's hurt. And I think you hold that title on Jade as long as until Bianca comes back. I truly believe that's your long-term payoff.
And when Bianca gets back, boy, woo-wee, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing.
As soon as I hear, I'm on my own, I guess I'm going nuts, bro. I'm going nuts.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Gene, what you got for us this morning, my friend?
Got a lot. Want to start off with March Madness and college basketball and the things that are happening in college basketball. And I know you guys talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I kind of want to go a little bit further into the lead into our Sweet 16 matchups. Now, guys, I picked the bracket. Picked one on the show. That bracket's not doing well, but I'm in 3 money brackets, 3 of them, and I'm in first place in all 3 of them.
There you go.
Now, how do you get out of a situation that you're in? Here's the situation I'm in. I picked UConn to go to the Final Four in the money bracket. I have no faith in UConn going to the Final Four. None whatsoever. I'm just telling you the truth. I know Dan Hurley's a beast, but I think whoever they play between Duke and St. John's, if they get past their next round matchup, which, by the way, Duke is, for everything advertised as being the easiest road, they play St. John's next. I think St. John's beats the crap out of them Friday.
That's not going to be an easy game.
Really believe that. But how do you guys see the East playing out? Duke versus St. John's. UConn is playing. Oh my!
UConn's playing Michigan State.
Michigan State. You have Dan Hurley, Tom Izzo.
I got Michigan State.
Like guys, this 4 in this bracket are 4. One blue blood team in Duke. I won't call their coach legendary. He's not. And then you have Pitino, Hurley, and Izzo. How do you see the East playing out?
It gets ugly, but see, to me, when you get to the round of 16, Sweet 16, this is when coaching matters even more. I think coaching
100%.
matters more at this stage. You can get upstage in the early going on raw talent, adrenaline, somebody not stepping up, somebody not playing up to their ability, but coaching matters. And it's crazy because the names you just reeled off, I think most people would say those are legendary coaches right now. I feel like Rick Pitino in a lot of ways is kind of like the Ric Flair of college coaches. Like, he's the dirtiest player in the game. But just when you write him off and say he's done, he'll go on an amazing look. That St. John's team, if you've seen St. John's play, they're a hard-nosed, get-after-you kind of team. I think they can beat anybody on a given night. But having said that, the guy that I always roll with, now he didn't always win, but he pulls the best out of his guys, is Hurley. I'm going to always roll with Hurley, even though I don't think this is their best team. I think coaching, I think the system, I'm going to always roll with Hurley.
Hold on 1 second, guys. If you don't mind me addressing something very, very quickly. Bro, I never said I was. I never said I was.
I think it's my name. I think it's my name. I don't know, bro.
Jesus.
But that's fair. So Coach Hurley, Tom Izzo. So you think that I'm good with my UConn pick?
I do. I think you are.
I don't. I think UConn's too injured, man. They got 3 of their 5 starters back now, but they were missing 3 starters in the opening round, 2 starters in the second round. And I don't know if they're going to get their 4th and 5th starters back for the Sweet 16, but I think they'll beat Izzo and Michigan State. I think Michigan State's a fraudulent team this year, but I think whoever wins in St. John's, I think St. John's ends up beating UConn in the Elite 8. I'll say this, right? And I kind of want to leave it here. UConn's a team that I'd be rooting for, because if they do make it to the Final Four, it gives me a really good chance of winning my bracket. I don't think another player's stock has plummeted more than Cameron Boozer for Duke in the last 2 games. He has been atrocious. And versus Siena, he was damn near unplayable. And he got exposed. And I don't know what Siena's coach like, but they were just like, let him shoot jumpers. Let him go. He's not it. And he got a lot of bailout calls by the ref, calling fouls if he just put his head down, charged in the people, and got him fat free throws. He has gotten bailed out in this tournament twice. I don't think it happens again versus St. John's. St. John's is a very good defensive team. And I think Okafor sticks Boozer one-on-one, and I think he's better than him. I really do.
That's going to be a great matchup. I'm actually excited for that matchup. And I don't think anything Gene said anything wrong. My only question with Boozer is clearly your jump shot wasn't falling. and he still kept stepping away from he spent more time away from the basket. And I know that's part of his game, but I don't think that's the strength of his game. I would have had him more free throw line in, but the game played out the way the game played out.
Yes.
But yeah, look, I think Gene's spot on. Look, I think Cameron Bruiser's stock has taken a major hit. The upside is he's still playing, so he can definitely turn that around. But so far, at least to me at this point in a tournament, he's come off very soft. Very kind of, you know what I mean? Low motor, very soft, easily to disrupt, throw off his game. He's got to show that he can handle adversity and step up if he wants people to buy in that he can be a franchise type player.
Is he Blake Griffin soft?
No, Blake Griffin was much better than him. Much better than him. I mean that when I say it, like, man, I'm not a fan.
I feel you.
I think that AJ Debonza, I think that even Darren Peterson, and I'm not a Peterson fan, Nate Ament, I think they're all better pro prospects than what Cameron Boozer will be. But hey, let's get into the Sweet 16 matchup with everybody's bracket had. I know everybody had Iowa versus Nebraska in this round. No, nobody had Nebraska.
Hold on, I got 25 of these things. Hold on.
I had Florida versus Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt, by the way, just want to say something right now. You want to talk about a kid that I'm not kidding with you. I felt so bad. Did you guys watch Nebraska versus Vanderbilt? Like, I know there's a lot of games to watch, but did you guys watch Nebraska versus Vanderbilt?
I didn't see that game.
I didn't see that game either.
Listen to me. I want you to look up the name after this is done. Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt. That kid reminds me of a better version of Jarrett McCain. And man, he was so much fun to watch for Vanderbilt. And if you guys, I know you guys all seen the replay of the almost walk-off, like half-court shot for Vanderbilt versus, that was such a good basketball game. Tyler Tanner had 27 points in that game, did everything to will his team to victory, and was just a hair off of hitting a walk-off three-pointer from three courts, off the backboard, off the rim, and then out. Duke Miles, who's supposed to be their leading scorer, only had 9, didn't show up. And Tyler Tanner did everything to will his team to victory, but it wasn't enough against Nebraska. The Cornhuskers advanced. Iowa knocking off of Florida, last year's national champion. Another game where you have to question coaching. Did you guys see Florida versus Iowa? I'll make it very clear. If you watch Florida, Iowa, and you're up 2, you're Florida, you're the defending national champions, you're the better team. You are losing the entire game. You're up 2, Iowa's got the ball with 5 or 9 seconds left. There's 2 options that you have. Number 1, you guard the 3-point line and you make them drive and get a 2. Or number 2, you foul and you give yourself the last possession. You know what a not option would be? Full court pressing Iowa and allowing an open 3 in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, that was the worst coaching I've ever seen in my life. And the coach went in the press conference afterwards and said, well, we wanted to foul him and put him at the line. Well, then don't full court press. I mean, Iowa ran the perfect play. They ran a screen to their best ball handler. Correct. Have to keep the ball in front of you. Kyle, it was a 3-on-2 break. You cannot have a 3-on-2 break in that game. And it was maddening to watch. And then Florida, they get a timeout, and they did not even draw up a play. They didn't get a shot off. It's 4.5 seconds left, and they didn't get a shot off. Florida's coach has to be kicking himself. I know they just won the national champion, but I know they just won it last year. But Todd Golden has to be kicking himself.
Let me ask you a question. We didn't get a chance to talk to you yesterday. Is Hubert Davis done in North Carolina?
Should be. Yeah, I was in the chat yesterday. I said yes. He should be. You can't blow a 19-point lead in the second half. I don't care if your best player is not there. You had 19-point lead. You cannot blow that lead in the second half. That's on you.
I agree. Yep.
But for Iowa, Florida, and for Vanderbilt versus Nebraska, I know it's tough for everyone to see every single game. I'm a nut. I get it. But guys, we're looking at Iowa versus Nebraska. Did not have that on my bingo card.
Same. Did not see that.
What is your bracket looking like, Mo?
A train wreck. My bracket is the bracket you have when you go what not to do.
Did you catch any of Florida versus Iowa?
I watched some highlights.
The last play of the game.
I watched some highlights. That's all I got a chance to watch.
Oh, did you see that last breakdown?
Yes, I'm like everybody else. Why are you full court pressing? What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? That is coaching or lack thereof. I don't understand that at all. That makes no sense. By full court pressing, you actually gave them a better chance to break your defense down and create an open opportunity. And it played out exactly that way. It didn't make any sense.
And they broke it down into a 3-on-2, got a wide open 3. And I feel really happy for the kid from Iowa. I forget his name, and I probably should know his name, but there's so many people in college basketball to know a 9 from Iowa's name. But let me get his name real quick. Let me actually give this kid some justice because he deserves it.
While you do that, I'm going to ask another question. Did I take this a little too far with 25 sheets?
What?
Did I take this whole tournament a little too far by doing 25 brackets?
You're supposed to. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I thought 5 was sane, but I did 25.
No, you're supposed to do 25 because ESPN will not pay you if you win if you didn't do 25.
Okay. Yeah, I did 25. I still got a couple of teams. I got a couple of teams at 99.5%. I got 2 teams at 98. So
I don't do 25, but I do like 3.
Yeah.
The 3 teams that I think that we're going to national championship this year were Florida, Arizona, and Michigan. So I just did 1 for each one of them winning. Right. But I got his name. It's Alvaro Folgrius. A dramatic walk-off 3 with 4.5 seconds left. But the part I want to talk about most is him pointing to the sky. He points to the sky after every 3. And it's to acknowledge his father, who he lost when he was 9 years old. And every time he hits a 3, he points to the sky to his dad. And for him to hit that walk-off 3 to head to the Sweet 16 for Iowa, got to be one of the coolest moments. That is March.
Yep.
That is March.
One shiny moment. One shiny moment.
All right. So who do you guys got in the matchup we all predicted a mile away? Nebraska versus Iowa.
Yeah.
I got Nebraska.
I want Nebraska.
I think Nebraska's a better coach team. I think they played really. And by the way, if you didn't watch, I think that game was played in Oklahoma City. Nebraska had the entire crowd. It was like a full Nebraska home game. Those fans have been waiting for an opportunity to cheer.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska also.
Oh, yeah.
Purdue versus Texas. 2 teams that got here in different ways. Texas, a play-in team. Winning their play-in game and then winning. And then Purdue, a team that just absolutely stomping people out.
Amen, man. That's funny.
That's harsh.
Oh, man.
I'm going Purdue in this Purdue versus Texas game. I think Braden Smith, Kaufman, Wren, they were my preseason national champion. Braden Smith, 5th-year senior, great leader. Kaufman, Wren, big in the middle, can get whatever he wants. I think they're too much for Texas. Texas relies on that big, stiff center that they have. And I know we can't do anything with Kaufman, Wren. So I think this is a clear matchup. I think Purdue wins this one. And I think they win it in a blowout. So, Will, if you were looking for a pick, this was the pick.
That's the pick? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for sure. Appreciate it.
Well, any thoughts on Purdue versus Texas?
Look, I took Purdue just because it's a veteran team, but it's a well-coached team. Everybody stays in their lane. They don't play hero ball. They just kind of wear you down, beat you with the fundamentals. They're a physical team, so they can impose their will. I'm definitely going with Purdue. I don't know if it's a blowout, like you said, but I will say this. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know if it's going to be a blowout.
You guys want to talk about stock rising? How about the stock of Darius Acuff from Arkansas?
100%.
100%. Yeah.
36 points versus High Point. And guys, High Point gave them everything that they wanted. How about that kid from High Point that doesn't shoot 2-pointers? Like
That's
that kid
crazy.
Bro, do you know that the walk-off, it's crazy. His name's Chase Johnson, number 99. Do you know the walk-off layup that he had in round 1 with the upset, where he had the steal and the walk-off layup, was the first 2-point basket he made all year?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That. The
That's
first
crazy. Talk about analytics and shot selection.
I mean, the guy just absolutely, he shoots from anywhere too. But they played against Arkansas. Arkansas just was too much for him. Darius Acuff got to the pin a ton, shot a ton of free throws, 36 points. They got a really tough matchup ahead of them. They're taking on Arizona, who
no joke,
many people think is the best team in this bracket. Arizona's played 2 games so far, and neither one have been close. Who do you guys like in Arizona versus Arkansas?
Arkansas. I like Arizona. I
think Arizona just got too much firepower. They got too much talent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is a close game. I think they pull away.
I mean, they've basically done that. They played the first team they destroyed, but the second team they played close and then pulled away in the second half. They were up 20. They don't listen to the score because it looks closer than it was. But Arizona, 2 blowout wins.
Where's Cuff going in the draft, Gene?
I think they're the biggest. Where Acuff?
Yeah. Where is he going? Where do you think he goes in the draft? Top 5?
This is the time where the most mocks change the most. So let me double check. I'm going to check all right, here we go. The latest mock has AJ going 1, Peterson 2, Cam Boozer 3, Caleb Wilson 4, Keaton Wagler out of Illinois, who's played great this tournament, 5, Kingston Flemings from Houston 6, Acuff's going 8 right now.
Okay.
Nate Ament going 9.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the coach that asked what he should do, change the halftime? He said fired. That's the Villanova coach. I'll get into that right now. Do you guys see this? Did you guys see this?
No, I didn't.
I didn't see it.
Mm-mm.
I got you. I'm going to play the video. It's really funny.
Okay.
So Kevin Willard, who's Villanova's new coach, he took over after they let somebody go after Jay Wright. But wait till you see this interview. It's amazing.
Okay. Turn it down.
I got you. I get you rolling. Let's share screen. This is literally at halftime, and he's gotten a lot of criticism for this. You ready?
Yep.
Coach, 16 paid points for Utah State. How do you keep them out?
We ready?
I'm firing my staff because we've
Not now.
Yeah, I am, because we've given up 8 points on underneath that bounce defense. So the only thing I'm gonna do is fire them and get a new staff.
All right, go do that now. Bye, Coach.
Dang. Oh my
I'm gonna
goodness.
fire my staff. Like, your thoughts on that video?
That's crazy.
I love the line. I'm just gonna fire my staff. But he said it in such a blasé way, but yet it almost felt like he meant it. It was crazy.
After he got a lot of critique for it, they're like, no accountability over there for Villanova, and he said in the post-game presser it was a joke, but it wasn't serious. But I mean, them losing the game kind of really stapled that. They were winning the game going into halftime, and he said that going into halftime, then they lost the game. Didn't really age well for him.
Right. It did not age well.
That's crazy. The whole video is crazy.
He replaced Colin Neptune, who was a terrible coach, by the way. Villanova just needs to be back in the Blue Bloods.
Agreed.
Illinois versus Houston. This is a battle of two lottery picks. Kingston Flemings for Houston, all-world point guard, reminds me a lot of Jalen Brunson. And he goes against super freshman Keaton Wagler from the Fighting Illini, which, by the way, when the tournament gets going, you find out if people got it or they don't.
Right.
Keaton Wagler has it, guys, absolutely. Illinois won both games by over 20 points. Wagler's looked really good in both games. Freshman.
Yeah.
Who do you guys got in this one? The Fighting Illini or Kingston Flemings in Houston?
I'm thinking
I'm going with Houston.
or Houston.
I'm going with Houston. They're hard nosed. Dang, I rode with Houston last year and they came so close. But yeah, I like Houston. I like Kingston Fleming. I like the Jalen Brunson comparison too. That's a really good
one.
comp.
That's a good one.
I think Houston just got more dogs on that team. I think Houston finds a way to win a really tough game.
They get after it. They get after it on defense, and I like that.
Got it. Listen,
they get after it.
Houston for years has got after it on defense.
Mm-hmm.
That is a staple of a Kelvin Sampson team.
Yep.
And then on Friday, you have I'm going to lead up to the big one: Iowa State versus Tennessee. Iowa State has been ruling people, like absolutely running people out the gym. But Tennessee, man, 2 big wins over Virginia and Miami of Ohio. But the one thing I want to point out, Nate Ament is your draft pick, right? Nate Ament has been okay. It's not been great. He's been okay. Let me tell you something about a guy on this team, Ja'Cory Gillespie. He has had an incredible tournament. I called it out on Wire to Wire. Ja'Cory Gillespie hit 21 points. Nate Ament 16. They're going to take on Iowa State. Now, remember, Iowa State is a great team. They've been running people out of the gym, but their best overall player and their second leading scorer was lost in the first 5 minutes of their opening round game. Yeah. They have to create a game plan of beating Tennessee without their best player. So, Tennessee versus Iowa State, where are you guys going?
I think that's a tall order without your best player. I think they're still a really good team without him. But if Tennessee comes in and they play their A game, I don't know how they can compensate for the loss of their best player. Where do they get that production from, that leadership from? I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think Tennessee pulls – I don't know. I wouldn't call it an upset. I would just say Tennessee pulls out a tough game. I think even without him, it's a close game.
Yeah, senior Joshua Jefferson, 6'9", power forward. He's been all world for them. Probably their best defender. He's their best rebounder. He's their second leading scorer. He's second in assists. He's second in steals. He has the most blocks on the team. Like, the guy is all world, and he is missing this game. I'm going Tennessee also. Ja'Cory Gillespie and Nate Ament have to be too much. Tennessee posts the number 1 defense in the nation. So I think Tennessee gets after it. I like Tennessee in this one. Will, where you at?
I like Tennessee too. Playing without your best just puts you at a disadvantage. So I got to go with Tennessee.
And then Michigan State versus UConn, we already talked about. I think we all went with Dan Hurley. Am I correct?
Yep.
And Alabama versus Michigan. Michigan's the biggest favorite of the weekend. 9.5-point favorites over Alabama. Alabama's going to have to run Michigan out of the gym. Michigan is athletic. Michigan's too tall. Alabama would have to play a very fast-paced game. I don't think they can do it versus Michigan. I think Michigan's, if not the best team in the nation, top 2. I got Michigan in that one in a landslide.
I normally don't trust SEC teams. Tennessee, I do because of this particular matchup in the situation, but I got to go Michigan.
I just think that Alabama would have to shoot an ungodly percentage from 3, and that's to make it a really, really good game. I think Michigan just wears them down. I don't think it's a close game.
It's going to be hard to close that gap in talent. It's going to be hard.
You're talking about another second leading scorer not playing in this game for a different reason, not injury, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But and then the last but not least, and I think this is the main event of the evening, and it's going off at 7 o'clock. It's the first game. It's opening up your Friday. St. John's versus Duke. St. John's is 6.5-point underdogs. I'm riding on the money line of the Johnnies. I think Okafor, I think he's too much for Boozer in the paint. Give me St. John's. I think St. John's wins this game. Give me Etchy.
This is tough for me. Now that I listened to you talk, I picked Duke last night, but then I listened to what you're saying. It makes perfect sense. So I reserve the right to change my pick. I'm going with St. John's.
I love Zuby, man. Zuby is that guy, bro. And the perimeter defense for St. John's is incredible. They were dominating Kansas and they blew a late lead, which made that game closer than it should have been. But St. John's defense is incredible, and Zuby in the middle I think he shuts down Boozer. I think he takes the game personal. Everyone's talking about Boozer and not talking about Zuby. I think Zuby takes him to school.
Yep. Give me St. John's.
I think this game is going to be a showcase for Zuby. This game might be the game where Boozer's stock really plummets. So we'll see.
Guys, want to kind of switch pace a little bit. Women's college basketball is happening, and I feel like we haven't talked about it enough. I feel like the reason we haven't talked about it enough is because it's almost like a foregone conclusion of who's going to win it. UConn is just beating everybody by 50. Like, it's just insane. Obviously, South Carolina's got something to say about that. Obviously, UCLA and Lauren Betts have something to say about it. But I wanted to talk about Audia Crooks. And I've watched a lot of videos on Audia Crooks recently. A lot. You guys, I don't know how much Audia Crooks basketball you guys are watching, but I've watched her play for a while. And as dominant of an interior post player as Audia Crooks is, I'm going to make a statement, and you guys can take it for what it is. I think she's a liability because she cannot play defense at all. Like, at all. And Syracuse did the same play every time they needed a bucket. And it was Uche Ozije literally went to the right above the foul line and hit a foul line jumper. And she hit, and they were uncontested the entire game. Iowa State knocked out in the first round. Audia Crooks had 37 points. The headline was, Audia Crooks does everything she can, but Syracuse still advances. I don't think people are watching what's happening. I think they're looking at box scores. She's a defensive liability, and that will not translate to W, because women in the W will be able to listen. She's still going to get a rebound. She's still going to get her points, but women in W are way too athletic, and they will not allow her to bully them in the paint the way she's been bullying these 18, 19-year-olds. Did you guys catch any of the Audia Crooks Iowa State Syracuse highlights or anything?
I did not. I didn't catch any of that.
I didn't either.
All right. Well, I apologize. I didn't mean to just go
Oh,
off.
you're fine. You're fine.
But let's move over to the NBA then. Anybody out there listening, I'd love to hear your take on that. I watched a little bit too much of it, so just calling it like it is. All right, let's move over to the hardwood, the NBA. Guys, I'm here to call somebody out.
Uh-oh.
I'm here to call somebody out.
Uh-oh.
And that person I'm going to call out is none other than the joke himself, Daryl Morey.
Get him, Gene, get him.
I want to remind you of a comment that Daryl Morey said just a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago. We sold him at his ceiling.
Oh, Jared McKay.
Yeah, McKay.
And last night in Philadelphia, I watched Jarrett McCain go 5 for 11, 3 for 7 from 3, and beat the 76ers by 20. The 76ers, every day, they've dropped in the standings since they've traded Jarrett McCain. Tyrese Maxey's hurt. Could have used Jarrett McCain.
Sure could have.
Paul George is suspended. Could have used Jarrett McCain.
Mm-hmm.
And Joel Embiid, who's been cleared to play, sat out versus Oklahoma City yesterday. I wonder why.
I will not play back-to-backs.
No, he
He
didn't
would
want to
look-
play and get his ass beat
Yep.
by Oklahoma City.
Yep.
He didn't want that to be his return game. And sorry to be all personal about it, but Jarrett McCain's been a huge story in the NBA. And I love watching this kid succeed. I'm a Jarrett McCain believer.
Mhm.
I love what he's doing for Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
I think that Daryl Morey got destroyed by Sam Presti in that trade, and he did it for luxury tax reasons.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Money.
Pisses me off.
It's all about the money, not the team, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's about for him.
Mo, your thoughts on Jarrett McCain on the Thunder and what he's been able to produce for them?
I just couldn't believe the trade when it first happened, but watching McCain fit seamlessly into the Thunder system, it doesn't surprise me. They initiate their offense through their defense, and he fits right in with how they play and the pace that they play. I didn't understand giving up on a young talent like that was just hitting his stride coming back from an injury. And Daryl Morey did a Daryl Morey thing, and Sam Presti did a Sam Presti thing. It's in a weird way that trade to me, it helped bolster an already loaded Oklahoma City team.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett McCain's played so well, he's moved other guys who were in the rotation out of the rotation because he's played and fit so seamlessly into their system. It's one of the dumbest moves Daryl Morey's made, but he's made a lot of dumb moves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's the most overrated GM in the NBA. He gets a lot of credit, and I don't understand why, because he's never won anything. Like if you want a title, that might buffer you and give you some kind of cred. But Daryl Morey, all he's done is put together super teams that come up short. And he's not known for player development or anything like that. And it's just disappointing because I didn't have the Sixers as a favorite in the East, but I really thought fully healthy that they would be the dark horse that you didn't want to play in the East. And they still might end up being that because I just don't think there's not a dominant team in the Eastern Conference.
No.
But to give up on a guy that's as talented as McCain is, and help out Sam Presti and the Thunder as if they needed it is insane to me.
By the way, I want to address this comment. Nature Boy, appreciate the comment, first of all. I said the players didn't rock with his zesty antics on social media. I believe that also played a part. I couldn't disagree with you more. Respectfully. Obviously, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But Joel Embiid all but begged Daryl Morey not to make this move in the media. Tyrese Maxey talked about the relationship that formed between him and Jarrett McCain. And if anybody else outside of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey have a problem, you move them. Because your two staples on that team are Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. If anyone else has a problem with his zesty antics on social media, you move them. By the way, it doesn't seem to be a problem for the Thunder. Guys, do you want to take a guess on how many games the Thunder have lost in the month of March? 0. Haven't lost a game. And Jarrett McCain, just so we're clear, 46% from the field, 43% from three, averaging 13 points a game coming off the bench.
I just
Basically
think
took a Jay Mitchell's spot, basically.
I just think it comes down to two things. When you put somebody in a better culture, you get better performance. And I also think you are dealing with a better coach in OKC than you have in Philadelphia. So between coaching and culture, you're gonna get an improvement.
I think that comment is more from select Sixers. I agree with you.
Yeah.
76ers can have AK. Just we don't. God, I know you want to dump your players, bro.
That's funny.
They can have Patrick Williams for all I care. Y'all can have it.
I was just a really huge Jarrett McCain fan last season. And you could see the potential and what he could do with his skill set offensively and defensively. I just don't know how you give up on that kind of talent that early in their career. I don't understand that.
Where y'all think Cam Thomas got released? Where y'all think Cam going to end up?
How does that happen, by the way?
No, I'm trying to figure out.
Like, I get it. You don't want to compete, and Cam Thomas wants to compete. But like, have you guys not like? If we not watched what he's done, like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Mo, maybe I'm missing something. Why is Cam Thomas being bounced around the league the way he is?
He's in a weird like NBA purgatory because everybody in the NBA recognizes that Cam Thomas is like a bucket, right? He's in that. I think he's in that Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, Malik Monk thing, instant offense, right? Off the bench. That's what he is. But I don't know how they don't value him. And I think Milwaukee was a bad fit to begin with because I think they're closer to tanking than they are competing. And I don't even think they're tanking. I think they're losing, honestly. But he's a unique talent. I think that if you need scoring punch, somebody that can keep the offense within a flow while your starters sit or whatever, he's perfect for you.
Oh yeah.
So I don't understand why he wouldn't be picked up by another team. But even if he is, because of where we are in the season, he wouldn't be eligible for the playoffs. So my guess is no one's going to pick him up. I think he'll be a free agent. But I think he's one of those free agents that won't lack for suitors. It'll really just come down to what he and his agent are looking to get paid. But if I were him, I would lower my salary requirements and sign a 1-year deal, but sign it to a team that's a contender and bet on yourself.
Right.
Because I think he's that kind of player.
Can you imagine Cam Thomas is the sixth man for the Denver Nuggets?
That would be. I was just thinking that. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
But I think he's exactly what they need, though, in terms of instant offense. They don't really have that on the Nuggets coming off the bench. So, yeah, I think he has value. It's just a matter of which team is going to pick him up. Like, the guy can put the ball on the floor, create for himself, others. Yes, he's a volume scorer, but he shoots a pretty good percentage as well, too. So I don't understand why teams are standoffish towards him because he's incredibly talented.
Yeah, he is.
It'll be nice for him to pick where he goes next. But just wanted to bring up Mo, you're MVP of the league, SGA.
Yes. I got SGA. Look, I'm a Laker fan, and I'll give Luka credit for what he's done over the last month. He's having a terrific season. I like using terms like Luka deserves MVP consideration.
Yes.
I agree with that. Jaylen Brown deserves consideration. I'm
Yes.
okay with that. Consideration isn't the same as winning.
Yep.
So I don't think Jaylen Brown should win. I don't think Luka should win. I don't think anybody has done anything to unseat SGA. And the only guy that remotely has a chance to me, it's not Joker, it's Wemby.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Last night, Wemby posted another alien-like score sheet. 26 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 block shots. He's going to win DPOI.
Oh, easy. Let me ask y'all this, though. Is it Wemby's performance or is it more of Joker and MVP fatigue?
It's not about Joker. To me, it's you watch the Spurs. They're the number 2 team in the West. They're 3 games behind the Thunder.
Yep.
They've took a mediocre drop or rise in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
They have been much better this year, and it centers around Wemby. Now, I think the Spurs are the best young team in basketball, and I think the Thunder are the best team in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a team with Castle and Harper, and then Wemby and Champagnie, like that team is loaded with talent. I cannot wait. I told you. It's worth the price of admission. You give me a 7-game series with them in OKC, and that's going to be your world championship. That will be it.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all. And I hope we get that series. And I know the Spurs have had their number in the regular season, but it's going to carry a lot more weight if they beat OKC in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. Facts.
Mo, I'm ready to admit I was wrong.
What?
So before the season started, I boldly predicted 2 teams that were not in the top 3 would make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that was Detroit Pistons, which I'm not admitting I was wrong there.
Mm-mm.
And the Orlando Magic. And the Orlando Magic lost the game last night to the Indiana Pacers, 130-128. But dropping them to the 8th seed. They're 38-33. I am just ready to admit that Paolo Banchero, I don't think he will ever be the superstar I once wanted him to be. And when I watch him play basketball, it's like playing Rec 2K, and there's a guy that can score the basketball a ton, but he's not a winning player. He doesn't really get back on defense. He's not a great distributor. The ball stops when it goes to him, and he lives and dies at driving to the hole, and he's not great from the free throw line.
No.
I
My
watch
thing-
him play basketball, and it's tough to watch.
My thing about Pablo, he's not consistent. He's not a consistent player at all. That's my issue with him. He's not a consistent player. Can he be? Sure, if he puts his nose to the grindstone, but right now he's not a consistent basketball player.
I think he settles too many times. Like,
Yeah.
he takes a lot of tough contested shots. And the truth of the matter is, when you have his size and that skill set, he should be living at the free throw line. Like he can overpower any three in the entire league, and he's too quick for 84s. And yet he settles for a lot of contested jump shots when he should be killing people foul line in. I think he has talent. I just don't think he has the want to. I don't. Sometimes you got to have that extra thing that makes you separate yourself from your peers. I can admit it. I'm kind of where Gene is. Brett and I, before the season started, we thought Paolo was going to be in the MVP conversation. We thought he was going to take that kind of leap. And the more that I watch him, I would argue that he's regressed.
He's not bad.
And on paper, Orlando looks like world beaters, but the way their roster's constructed, Paolo and Franz, they don't work. They don't work. That's a duo that doesn't work. Their skill sets don't complement each other. And the coaching staff, if you watch Orlando play, they don't run a system. They just run a series of ISO plays for their three best players, but they don't really run a system. So, yeah, I think Paolo's been disappointing. Now, look, am I saying he's not going to go on to make multiple all-star teams and have accolades? No, I'm not going to say that. But I thought that he was headed towards being a top 5 or 6 player in the NBA, and I think he's far away from that.
I have another fun comment for you guys, and I kind of want to see where you guys land. I'm going to give you a blind resume of 2 players, and I want you to tell me, just blind, who do you think's had the better season? Is that fair?
Yep.
We'll do player A is averaging 20.3 points per game. Player B, 19.1. Player A is averaging 6.6 rebounds. Player B is averaging 5.3 rebounds. Player A is averaging 4.6 assists. Player B, 3.4. Player A is shooting 55% from the floor. Player B is shooting 65% from the floor. Who in your opinion would you rather have, player A or player B? And do you know who they are?
Off the top of my head, I don't know who they are.
Good.
I don't know who they are, but I'm taking player. I don't know who they are, but I'm taking player B.
Why?
Shoots better from the floor.
Okay, so you're taking player B.
But yeah, I'm taking player B because he's a better shooter.
So player A has more points, more rebounds, more assists, but player B shoots better.
If my floor, my team is an open floor spacing to get the next jump shooter free, yeah, I'm taking player B.
Okay. Player A or player B, Mel?
I'm gonna go with player A. I know the other guy shoots a higher percentage, but player is just as productive, and he doesn't shoot a bad percentage. He's not as efficient as the other guy.
So I'm going to add one more thing at the end. Player A's usage rate, 26%. Player B's usage rate, 22.5. Does that change anything?
Not for me. It just means
Not for me.
player A is clearly more ball dominant.
Anybody in the chat know the two players I'm talking about? Guys, this is your two finalists for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flagg is player A, and Con Knipple is player B. Con Knipple is now the favorite, the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year as player B, whereas I think Cooper Flagg, the better player, is player A. I'll take Cooper Flagg. That's my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'd love your opinions, guys.
I love Con Knipple. I'm loving everything that he's doing right now. I know Cooper Flagg will probably win that Rookie of the Year award, but as you said, Mo, about consideration, I think Con Knipple deserves consideration for Rookie of the Year.
Well, yeah, of course. I don't think that's even a.
He ain't beating Cooper, but yeah.
You know what? I think Con Knipple is going to win Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flagg is the more talented player, but Con Knipple has had as good a year. And what's more important is Con Knipple has changed the trajectory of his franchise.
Yes.
LaMelo is their most talented player, but their best player is already a rookie. It's Con Knipple. He's their best player on both sides of the floor. And Con Knipple shown things that I didn't know that he had in his bag. Like, I didn't think he could put the ball on the floor the way that he does.
He shot me with that.
Yeah, there's more to his game than meets the. I already knew he was hard-nosed, very competitive, and I knew he was going to bring that. But for him to have the impact that he's had, I think to me that's why he's going to win Rookie of the Year. The Hornets are going to be in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
and the Mavericks are going to be back in the lottery. So
that's true.
With the numbers being that close, I'm going to lead to the guy that's winning. So I'm going to go with Con Knipple.
Two things I'll contest, and I don't agree with that you said. And a lot of what I don't dislike Con. A lot of what you said makes a lot of sense. Number one, I don't think he's the best player in the Hornets. I don't. I think LaMelo Ball is the best player in the Hornets. When I watched him play basketball, LaMelo jumps off the page. He's a much better. He scores more. He has way more assists. The offense runs through him. I think LaMelo is the best player on the Hornets. That's one. The second thing, and Con Knipple has had a great year. The Hornets are a 10th seed, and what Con Knipple is playing around. I hate saying this is kind of crazy to have to say this. Is Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Miles Bridges. What Cooper Flagg is playing around is PJ Washington. There's nobody else on Dallas. So I don't want to I can't say one's not that. You guys know for years, the Rookie of the Year has never been on a real big playoff team. That's not like it. They always do it. It's based off of your stats. It's based off what you've done. I don't agree with that statement that because they're winning that they deserve the award. This is not MVP. This is Rookie of the Year. It's different parameters. That's just my personal opinion.
I get the different parameters, but I just think Con has had a bigger impact on his team than Cooper Flagg has. And you can throw out the names LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller, but those same three guys, you could throw out their names last season, and the only thing they had in common was they all sucked, and they were on a team that sucked. So what changed is Con Knipple. Like, LaMelo Ball is more talented. He's not a better player. He scores more because he shoots more. He assists more because he's ball dominant. The ball's always in his hands, but he's not a better shooter than Con Knipple. He just shoots more. If Con Knipple shot 23 shots per game, he'd score more than LaMelo. LaMelo's a point guard that shoots over 20 plus shots a game. You better be the leading scorer by default. But talent and being a better player aren't the same thing. LaMelo's more talented. He's not a better player. Connor's already a better defender. LaMelo still don't play defense. He's a more consistent player than Brandon Miller. He's a more consistent player than what's the dude that almost got into the fight?
Miles Bridges.
He's more consistent than Miles Bridges. Like you can throw their names out there.
I don't mean that
they were all together last year and they stunk.
Well, they weren't all together last year. That's not fair. Brandon Miller played 28 games. LaMelo Ball played 47 games. They weren't all together last year. And LaMelo Ball shot 23 times a game last year. That's not this year. He shot 17 times a game this year. Con Knuckle shot 14 times a game. So, like, yes, he does shoot more. It's not
He still
23
shoots-
times a game.
Well, so he still shoots more. I just believe
Correct.
Conkinible's a better player.
That's fair, and I respect that opinion. But we're not going to pretend that like they were all together last year and they were playing all these games. LaMelo Ball's played 82 games the last 3 seasons combined. He's played 61 this year. So like he's not been on the court.
Well,
Like-
that's all the more reason that he wouldn't be my best player, because the thing about it, he's not available very often.
That's fair.
I'm
And-
starting
and
to think
I
that just
understand
comes with I'm starting to think that just comes with the Ball bloodline. They just can't stay healthy.
He said a ball blood.
Guys, it sucks that we got to 10 o'clock and
Oh,
that conversation because I wanted to continue it. But that's our time. Anybody have any final comments? But by the way, Mo, fun debating with you. I mean that in the nicest way. Like we can politely disagree at times.
For sure.
You were shally, so we got a lot more heated.
I've seen you and Shally go at it.
Any final comments, gentlemen?
I just appreciate everybody in the chat, the energy, the questions, all the comments. Thank you guys for joining us.
Appreciate you having me this morning too, my friend.
By the way, I just want to say this out loud. I have a perfect if I need a couple things to happen tonight, but I almost have a perfect Elite 8 in the women's college basketball bracket.
There you go.
I predicted TCU. I predicted Notre Dame upsets. I think TCU beats Virginia tonight, and I think they lose South Carolina next week.
There you go.
But Mo, Will, any final thoughts?
Thank you for having me this week. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
Appreciate you.
I'll see y'all. Take care. Have a great night.